Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shirtless Plantain Show. This is the Copa America edition. We're going to talk about the quarterfinals. And today I have with me Gabby and Dean. How are you guys doing today?
Good, I'm good. Sleep out of my eyes now.
Good. Give you some time to rest.
Oh, man. I'm here. I'm always here. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, there was before the quarterfinal, the last round of games, and we're not going to talk about that because that happened. And if you want to hear us wax about USA being bad, there's a podcast for that. And there's a video if you want to go watch that. We can find out that, Kyle Beckham is actually a white man, which was incredible. I don't know.
That was the funniest part of that podcast. I can't believe he didn't know that he was a white man.
Has that been confirmed that he's white? Is that a confirmed fact?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. He's a white man, but his last name is Beckerman. Can someone explain this to me?
I don't know. I guess that's what white people do. I got a Yoruba last name. I can't really answer for white people. So.
Fair enough. Let's talk some football, some soccer, some football.
Yeah. Let's talk about the first game, Argentina versus Ecuador.
Oh shit.
I don't know. I don't even know how to describe how Argentina's been playing in the tournament. They've been creating a lot of chances, but they haven't been finishing their chances. Gab, you want to talk about this game?
Genuinely, I don't even remember if I watched that game because that's how there's so much soccer going on. I feel like Argentina played the way that I always feel like they play in every tournament, creating a million chances and just none of the goals seem memorable. I don't remember any performances where I'm like, damn, this was a really good game. Like you did a really good or any of the I can't pick out any of the players who are damn, you were world class in this game. It's just, yeah, that's Argentina. They always find a way to get through. On the back of Emi Martinez, but such is life.
It's life. A win is a win. And I guess you guys did the spoiler alert already. But essentially Argentina just kind of goes, we're going to outscore you. I don't think there's any real defensive discipline to the way they play. If we're being honest about this game, I actually remember it because I don't have a social life. Ecuador should have won this game. Easily should have won this game. Argentina's goal came off a set piece. Lissandra at the back post from a corner. I don't remember much else they created. I really don't. I mean, obviously that happened a couple of days ago at this point, but there just wasn't a lot. I think I looked at the stats and both teams had 2 shots on goal. But that doesn't do justice to how good Ecuador were in that game. Caicedo, Sarmiento, I know they're both Premier League players, so I recognize those names. I remember them. But they both were dominating that game. They were dominating their phases of play. And if Ener Valencia was a man with more discipline and ethics,
you're jogging my memory. Ener Valencia.
You remember that. This is a nigga that almost got he was supposed to get served or arrested for not paying child support, and he faked an injury and ran off the field or some shit during an international game.
Somebody retweeted that video on my timeline during the game, and the way that I laughed, oh my god!
Again, what did we tell you the other days? No, I was gonna say the other day, literally when you were. No, good.
Go on, Tosin. Go on.
I was gonna say the other day in the podcast we told you guys to pay your child support, and look what happens. Ener Valencia doesn't pay his child support, and he can't score.
Oh yeah, just shenanigans.
Generally, when you have that kind of bad karma in your back pocket, you're not going to win shit. At some point in the game, Argentina conceded a penalty. It was Raul de Paul who got absolutely bullied in this game. Caicedo beat the shit out of him throughout the game. Whether there was fouls, whether there was shoves, they were just on his ass on some, hey man, you're not even the blackest person on the field and you got braids. What the fuck wrong with you? They were just smacking him around. He ends up giving away a handball early in the second half. Valencia steps up to take the penalty, sends Martinez the wrong way, hits the post. And from that point on, I feel like if you're an Ecuadorian, you would have known deep down inside that it wasn't your day. But last minute, they get a goal. And it looks like, maybe it is their day.
And I'll tell you the funniest part about that goal is they took Lisandro Martinez off 10 minutes early because they were trying to defend crosses. And they got scored on by a cross.
So peak. Because they should have conceded more times than that, too. And that's the worst part.
Respect.
Back to Rodrigo De Paul, let me just say, how does Habitzer have better braids than you? And you're a spicy white. It's just,
Gabby,
It doesn't
look,
feel right.
he's not spicy white. He's Italian or German, okay? Like the rest of them Argentine. All of
Oh,
them niggas are not. They're German or Italian. All of them.
He said
Oh my
since power is white. Actually, not supposed to be doing that at all. Him and Sabitzer probably got the same ancestors. They probably got the same shit. Like
That's
Raul probably
crazy.
speaks better German than Marcel Sabitzer on the low.
That's crazy.
And his name from now on is Arrigo Sean DePaul. That's his name.
Sean Nepal.
It is funny though. Like, I was gonna say like this tournament is very interesting because you notice so much geopolitics when you're watching these tournaments, right? Like this is just the bypass of life, right? You're watching basically every team have people darker than all of us on their teams, and Argentina is just a bunch of like Germans, and it's just we're not getting into it today, but it's very interesting when you look at like someone like Moises Caicedo and Valencia, who are like literally if they put them in Lagos, you couldn't tell that they weren't from Lagos, but these niggas speak fluent Spanish. Slave trade is crazy, but.
I shouldn't laugh.
Yeah,
I lost the point of what I was even trying to say.
No, the really fascinating observation for me was one of the Ecuadorian substitutes. His last name was Yeboah, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Ecuador got a Ghanaian playing for them now? That like it is.
Yeah.
Like I understand why
I
Tony said weird shit in an interview recently because there's too much with the globalization. We all need to go back to our countries. It's enough. It's enough. Got a Ghanaian.
So he was born in Germany, raised in Germany, played for Germany all the way to U20. So U16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now he can play for Ecuador. I don't know how the fuck he plays for Ecuador, but you have a Ghanaian named John Yeboah Zamora. John Yeboah Zamora is his name.
I wonder if that's like his wife's name. Because I know in Spanish cultures they pick up the maternal name or some shit like that. So
he has a Ghanaian mother, a Ghanaian father, and an Ecuadorian mother, born in Germany.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But he was one that crossed for the header that they scored. He also took a very good penalty in that shootout. But unfortunately, I think once you get to a shootout with Argentina, even when Messi misses a Panenka, they still had Emi Martinez, who was twerking up a storm.
Literally. He lives for that shit.
It was pretty funny. He was in Houston twerking, the right city for that.
Correct. You know, Emi the Stallion.
Real hot girl shit. Venezuela and Canada. I am very impressed with what Jesse Marsh has done. Okay. And I think the best part about it is the fact that Gabby's about to be so mad.
I'm in pain. I'm in pain.
I'm sorry. He came out recently and basically said that they treated me like shit in the interview. I was like, we know. They were not going to let you have RB Minneapolis in America, okay? This shit was not going to happen.
So he said that they treated him like shit during the interview process? He thinks he's special? That's how they treat the rest of us during interviews, whether we're interviewing with US Soccer or Intel or Google or whoever, or the fucking McDonald's down the street. They treat everybody like shit. Get used to it, motherfucker. Just because you lived abroad and you've been a fancy foreigner doesn't mean that you get to be treated special. I hope they interview him again and treat him like shit again, just for the laws. Gabby, I have a specific question.
I don't know. Maybe Canada has more manners.
Of course they do. They're Canadians. I mean, come on, except for Drake. Gabby, real quick. We've heard a lot of chatter about America having a golden generation. I think we can all agree that that's not the case. But forget the golden generation. Which team actually has more talent, Canada or America?
America. You can't listen. Tosin and Amani have been gaslighting me for months, trying to tell me that America's not as good as we think they are. And I'm not one of these like crazy American fans or we should be winning the World Cup. Like, let's be fucking for real. Okay. But like all of let's say our best starting 11, like including Jorginho Dest and all the people who are injured or whatever. You can't tell me that we're not better than Canada. Like our talent pool is better. Even our depth is better than Canada, in my opinion. The only player on like Canada that I would take, obviously, is the world class Alphonso Davies. I don't think we have any world class players on America. I'm gonna be real with you.
I have a question for you. You're not feeling Jonathan David and his yee ass haircut?
You answered your own question there. You answered your own question there.
But here's
I mean, that's a toss up between Balogun and Jonathan David. Let's be real.
I got to be honest with you, Gabby. I was watching some highlights this morning and I was pondering it, which was why the question came up. And I think they actually have more talent because at the end of the day, you're looking at the top end of the talent. Like every team can sort of every country can fill out their squad with a bunch of people that have legs that are useful. But when you look at where these Americans play and what they do on those teams, like who are the best American players? Okay, so Christian Pulisic, who essentially had to leave a better league for a lesser league. We can argue about it if you want, but I think the Premier League is better, more intense at least than Serie A. It is what it is. Then we have Weston McKennie, who plays for Juventus in a bit of an accessory role. He's sort of like a Raul DePaul type player, as opposed to being like an actual creative midfielder. Who else we got? Tyler Adams doesn't have hamstrings, isn't very good. Who else is at the top? Okay, Balogun plays in Ligue 1, but he doesn't start. Meanwhile, we're talking about Alphonso Davies, who is arguably, with Theo Hernandez, the best left back in the world. So Canada has at least one player that is maybe world class. I mean, the US doesn't have that.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I mean, they don't even have good goalkeepers anymore.
Which is, we're losing recipes.
That's wild.
Let me just say that. I said the other day that goalkeeping is not a black job. Let's be real. It is not a black job, but it is a black job in the US, okay? And we are losing recipes. The fact that we don't have a good goalkeeper and we have 3 goalkeepers who could potentially be our number 1 is crazy.
That is wild. Niggas are not supposed to be in goal. Nah, not at all. It's not our thing. But that's Shaffer boy for Canada. When I was doing the MLS pod for us, he was one of the MLS players that stood out to me. You know, he combines really well with Hani Mukhtar, who I think has won 2 MVPs in MLS. But he looked amazing in this game. He was destroying Venezuela down their left flank the whole game. And he probably should have won a penalty before he scored the opening goal, I thought. But the refereeing in this competition has been, we'll get to it in more detail when we talk about Brazil and Uruguay, but good Lord, the refereeing in this tournament, Jesus Christ. It is insane.
You know what was
go ahead.
I was going to say, who has also impressed me in Canada? Alistair Johnston, who plays in Celtic. He's been very good to me. Well, solid. Bombito's been very good as well.
That's what I was going to say, Bombito.
Yeah. And then Ismail Kone, who comes off the bench, who plays at Watford. I like him as well. But I think the one thing is, like, talent aside, right? They've all generally bought into what Jesse Marsch is selling, right? Their leg's going to explode soon because Jesse Marsch is a crazy motherfucker who wants everybody to run.
That highline is crazy.
Jesse Marsch is basically the same thing as the Knicks coach, right? That's effectively what he is. He's literally like that. And he wants you to die on the field. That's why him and Bielsa are like besties. But they really have bought into what he's selling. Jonathan David needs to learn how to finish better. There was a chance he had in that first half where I was like, yo, finish that shit. You're a striker who wants to go to a big league. That's not going to cut it at all. We have to be harsh. Like, I know they're professional. I know it's hard. But if that's what you want to be at that next level, those are chances you should be finished. That should have been 2-0 right there. Game done and dusted. But Jesse Marsch, even seeing him on the sideline sing the national anthem, I was like, yo, you really bought into this shit. Like, you really are singing Drake tunes on the sideline. This is nice. Good for you.
I'm not a fan of foreign managers singing another country's national anthem. I'm just not. You're not from there. They just pay you. You're a mercenary. Do your job and get the fuck out. You're not going to be
mercenary.
I got a statue for you no matter what you do. You're not one of them. They might give you an OBE.
They're not like us.
You're not like them, nigga. You're not like them. Jesse, chill with all that singing shit out there.
Dean is holding the hateration for all 3 of us.
What I do, man, is real natural to me, real easy.
Old man yelling at the clouds right now.
Dean,
Canada salted this game away in 30 minutes. They created so many chances in the first half. Venezuela is one of those teams that made it to the quarters in this tournament that are not as good as the U.S. As shit as the U.S. were, Venezuela, Panama should not have gotten to the quarterfinals before the USA did. I don't care what group they were in. So it was a shame to watch. I mean, Canada took this one to penalties, but it really shouldn't have. And Jesse Marsch should be really disappointed on some level. Obviously, we're happy that you made the semifinals of the Copa, which is this their first time in the Copa?
It is.
Yes.
And they're in the semifinals already. So that's impressive by any standards, but this is a game that should have been over in the first half. Just poor finishing all around.
Yeah.
From Canada. And Venezuela, not very good.
This one. That's how that goal came about. It was a long ball. That's how that goal came about. Canada has this one interesting Yoruba guy, Tani Oluwaseyi, right? Yeah. And yeah, I don't know why his name makes me laugh. I think it's because I know what Tani means, like outside of the context, what his name means. So it's just like, for me, I look, I was like, his name, basically like, who's Ulashi? And that's what makes me giggle. But that's neither here nor there. Canada really bought into Jesse Marsh. I think that's the biggest takeaway we can say. Like, they really, really have bought into what he's selling. And RB Scarborough's going crazy. So good for them.
They
Who
definitely
else is
want to
next?
win games for him.
Yeah, they are.
Not that PR propaganda that the U.S. is peddling. We'll run through a fucking brick wall for. How about you win games for your fucking coach? How about that?
Well, that's hard. Running through a brick wall is easy. You just run into a fucking wall. That's not hard at all. I've done it before. Winning a soccer game is way harder than
Stand
that.
these guys.
Way harder.
Yeah.
The one good thing that Carly Wood said on the commentary is that we fucking hated our coach and we won trophies. I can't relate to this shit. Like,
Well, what does
See,
Carly Lloyd
now,
not
I don't
hate?
want to.
That motherfucker hates everything.
that's true.
Alexi Lalas, she loves him.
No, she don't.
Which is
No, this is true.
Behind his back, off TV, she probably be talking hella shit. Nobody fucking likes that guy, man. Nobody likes him. There's like one Fox executive that likes that guy. That's it. The one guy that makes decisions about soccer at Sox likes Alexi Lalas. Nobody else likes him. Not his mom, not his dad, not his kids, not his wife. Fuck that nigga. There. I've been wanting to say that shit all fucking summer.
And I haven't, because I know what I used to say back in the day, and I'm a changed man. Colombia and Panama, 5-0. While we were recording Gabby, this is for you to like laugh. We were recording the Euro edition yesterday. They were up 3-0 at halftime. And Dean's direct words were, why the fuck do you care? They're beating up on the cripple.
Why would you say that?
Listen, I wasn't trying to be ableist.
Oh my god.
I was just annoyed that I was looking forward to watching the game after we finished recording, and I realized that there's no reason to go watch the game because it's fucking over and it's 15 minutes into the game. And Panama, beautiful gowns, Gabby, lovely jerseys, love their kits. The rest has been horrible, just horrible. I know they were playing without their alleged best player, the Houston Dynamo's Coco Carrasquilla, but that's not a reason. I mean, it was the most naive football I've seen in this tournament. They didn't mark on set pieces. When Colombia would get a free kick, they wouldn't block the ball. They made James Rodriguez look like he was 24 again. It was horrible. I didn't enjoy it.
They're just gorgeous goons in gorgeous gowns.
Gorgeous goons in gorgeous gowns. Hey. Sometimes you just got to be the culture club. I don't know.
There was like really nothing to take away from this. Like the talent level between the two teams was just so astronomically different. And the one thing that does impress me about James Rodriguez is for most of his club teams, he does all right. But for Colombia, he puts the jersey on and he just turns into God. It's like he's basically good.
That guy, I feel like he goes like sometimes I don't even remember. I know like factually he was at Everton and at Real Madrid and wherever. But I don't even remember those days. Like he just goes into cryo like stasis and then comes out when Colombia has to play. That's what it feels like. He's well rested. He has no baggage. Not playing with a chip on his shoulder. He's just vibing. Like just vibe. He loves it there.
Do you want to know how I know how well he plays for Colombia? When they were playing against Brazil, I saw this man pressing. This man was pressing. I've never seen James Rodriguez press in my fucking life, but he was pressing to the other corner flag. This man was chasing people. I was like, I've never seen you do this before. Ever.
Listen, I don't know that I can give him credit for that. I mean, this is the country that Andres Escobar, RIP, was from. So I'm sorry, if you put on that yellow jersey and you don't work, it might not end well for you. So I'm not impressed by that. Okay, if my life was at stake, I would fucking run backwards.
This is true.
That's just me though. But I'm a bitch like that. I'm soft like that. I run into brick walls for nobody.
This is true.
My thing is, I was about to say that, but I was going to say, I don't think Colombia has that sort of leadership anymore, but I've never been there, so I couldn't tell you.
I have, and I can tell you.
We don't want to test that theory, though.
No, we don't. Not at all. Not at all. But yeah, this is what we call a mismatch. Basically, it just wasn't really. I mean, Colombia looked really strong in this tournament, but I don't know that there's any insight stake from the game. Really. Like,
they're my finalists. They're my people I think are going to win.
Ooh, I do have a good take from this game. Richard Rios is a fucking baller. I love Richard Rios. He's been impressed me all tournament. And yeah, I think somebody's going to get a good little gem in that guy. So I like Richard Rios.
yeah,
good little player.
Yeah, I saw him yesterday, and I saw the chatter on the timeline, so I just had to look him up a little bit. And his career path / current club, he plays at Palmeiras in Brazil, which is dope. And he's already 24 or 25, which, and again, not every path has to be linear, but I just don't see him as a real option for the teams that we watch every weekend in Europe. If he was that good, they would have found him by now. Like, no one hides for long in this game anymore. There's video everywhere. Everyone knows who the good players are. So we'll see. Maybe someone will take the risk on him after this tournament. But I'm just like,
Yeah,
if
I
they
was gonna
didn't,
say,
yeah, and he's only really played well for about a season or two, if that. But good player in
And
this tournament for sure.
that leads into the next game, which leads into my theory, which I said I got naked theories about why Brazil is so bad. So you said that he's been in Brazil since 24, right? And if we can find you, we can find you. I think a lot of Brazilian players are leaving a little bit too early. I think that a lot of these kids are like leaving a little bit too early and not really getting enough time to be at home. Like when they come back to Copa America, and what's the word in Yoruba? Because Gabby, I'm about to see you some Yoruba. I can't really explain. I think a lot of them are ajebota. And when they come home, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it.
this no. I like that theory, and it lets me slap Chelsea a little bit because Chelsea, the evil that you have done in this world, grabbing up these Brazilian talents and then not developing them and just sitting them on loan for 5 years, and then them going nowhere. That's hurting Brazil. That's all I have to say on that.
I suppose Chelsea are guilty. Real Madrid are very guilty. They've just happened to develop a couple of them, which is nice, but they've failed a lot more. We just don't talk about them because they never became anything. I think just generally, I think it's generally accepted as an issue there in Brazil as well. I think, and it's less about the way they play or how good they are, and more about the fact that people have, for most of the Neymar era, really, I feel like Brazilians have felt like they don't have as much of a connection with the national team because those kids barely play at home before they head to Europe. And when they don't play at home at all, people don't get to know them in Europe. Like, for instance, there's a reason why Gabriel Magalhães and Gabriel Martinelli are both there sitting on the bench. Brazilians don't know them. Like they're just beginning to kind of learn about them because they're on a high-profile team in England, finally doing some things. But they generally don't know them, so they don't really care about them as players, and they're not connected. Then the other part is that even for the players that do get developed properly, the final stage of their education is not in Brazil, it's in Europe. So that's why they go back home and they have a coach like Fernando Diniz, who got fired before Dorival Jr. took the job. And he was trying to get them to play in a more relational style, just more like Real Madrid, like the whole Carlo vibesy thing. Well, that's just letting good players figure shit out on their own, putting them in a loose structure for them to figure it out on their own. And a lot of these modern Brazilian players don't really have that sort of natural energy anymore. They can't really play like that. They need direction. They need structure. They need positional play, basically. Then even worse, the part that hurts my soul the most is the type of midfielders they're producing. Even the most creative Brazilian midfielders are hatchet men. Lucas Paqueta will kick the shit out of him. Like, remember the game at Wembley where he was fouling?
Oh my god!
Like, all of them are just Dunga plus a little spice. That's it. There's no real imaginative dudes on there anymore.
Listen,
can I add to that? Because Yao Gomez was linked to my team earlier, and I wanted to watch him this tournament. I looked and said, "This is not somebody I want in my club." Yao Gomez this tournament was not it. That midfield three of Paqueta, Bruno Guimaraes, and Yao Gomez was not. They're literally, like you said, they're all baby dungas. That's all that they are. Like, just kicking the shit out of you. And the thing is, like, the game yesterday, I look forward to it, right? Like, that was the game I was looking forward to because I knew I wasn't getting football. I knew I was going to see Uruguay's press, which literally looks like you're getting jumped by 11 niggas at one time, right?
Just violence.
Just, you're getting out-pressed by, like, these madmen who love what Bielsa is selling them to Brazil, whose midfielders can't progress. And, like, I'm listening to the commentary from Frost. I'm like, yo, listen, it's this simple to break this game down. Brazil's midfielders aren't good. And I saw a lot of people talking shit about Endrick. Like, he's 17 years old playing against one guy who starts for Napoli, another guy who starts for Atletico Madrid. You're playing against two guys who are absolute shin kickers. One who plays for Diego Simeone, one who plays in Italy that is going to boot you 50 feet in the air. So you got the 17-year-old kid who can't get passes from his midfield. Then you got your two wide men who basically was just stuck in mud because you're getting pressed all day, and then your midfield can't help you out. So yeah, it was just an interesting game because I knew nobody was going to score. I just knew this was going straight to penalties. This was going to be a high, violent affair. And Dean, this is now for your time to talk about the referees.
Yeah, I mean, 41 fouls in this game, and he didn't actually call all of them. Like if he had called a couple cards early in the game, if he had given like 1 or 2 yellows early in the game, we might have gotten a game out of this, but we didn't.
I said
And it
that exact
all,
thing when I was watching it.
yeah, we
Said
almost
that
lost
exact thing. I was
Rodrigo
like,
because of this shit. You know, did you see the red card?
just pull the card.
Did you see the red card later in the game?
That was a horrendous. That was a horrendous tackle.
Yeah,
Yes,
horrendous.
I mean,
and Nandes had the nerve to argue it on top of that, which was the worst part. I was like,
for
bro,
5 minutes, I said, "Get this guy! Somebody drag this guy off the pitch! Like enough!
and bro,
What are you arguing? You genuinely could have broke his ankle. Like what? What are you arguing?
First
like
of all, he's a right back wearing number 8. He's already a sick man. Okay, that's enough in itself to know that he's not a normal human being. I don't ever want to see a right back wearing number 8. Okay, and he's over there.
I think for his club he plays as a midfielder, so he would wear 8 normally. But for Uruguay, they have him at right back, which I suppose is nice for him. But yeah, he's not ideal to have in the game, especially around a player like Endrick. This is a career ender, man. He almost destroyed Rodrigo's ankle. And the wildest part was that after he got that red card, Brazil had about 20 minutes to take advantage of their extra man. And because the game was so chippy and Brazil's players can't progress the ball for shit, they didn't do a fucking thing with an extra man for 20 minutes.
That was the part of the game that pissed me off the most, I can't lie. You're up a man for a full, 20 minutes, almost half an hour, and you did nothing. Created, no chances. What am I watching? At this point, give Uruguay back the ball, kick it up to Noodles, and see what happens. Because I just wanted that game to be over. I was like, let's just get to penalties. When he blew the whistle early, I said, thank God.
I have 2 players that disappointed me yesterday. One plays for Man United, one is linked to Man United. Ugarte and Pelistri. Dean and I have talked about Pelistri in the past. I think that he's a very hard runner, but he's a Celta Vigo legend. He has no pace, and he will be a very good mid-table player in La Liga. And this is no offense to him. I just feel he's not of that ilk at Man United. And Ugarte is a hatchet man who cannot progress the ball for shit. I'm sorry. I do not like what I saw from Ugarte yesterday. I knew why he was there. He's going to kick the shit out of you, but that man, I'm not a fan at all.
I was hoping you guys get that transfer through, because I was like, that's going to be wasted money right there.
I mean, the only good thing about it is Kobe Mino has a bodyguard, a real life bodyguard next to him who will do anything to make sure he's protected. But other than that, you give him the ball, it's hot potato because that man is not doing shit with the ball. But yeah, I think for me, it was just such a very interesting game to see how Brazil has fallen off. And I think that the coach has done a terrible job. You barely played Endrick, you barely played Evan Nilsson, and then all of a sudden Vinny's out, suspended. Oh, let's start the 17-year-old kid. What are we doing here? Just throwing shit to the wall and hoping it sticks.
Honestly, national teams are funny.
Verbatim.
Because I feel as if a lot of these coaches get a lot of criticism from, their countrymen and observers like us. But I honestly believe a lot of these guys don't have as much leverage as we think they do.
No.
When Vinicius Jr. isn't playing, I'm pretty sure someone from the Brazilian FA is like, play the AI kid. Play the AI kid so we can get the marketing vibes going and all that shit. Because there's no reason why Evan Nilsson or Martinelli shouldn't have started ahead of a 16-year-old.
If I speak on the fact that they have not played Martinelli, you put him on with 5 minutes left, and I said, what the fuck is this?
He's a child. He's not good enough. Those Uruguayans didn't even sweat locking him up. The ball barely got to him. He had maybe 1 touch in the entire game from the kickoff or some shit, and that was it.
And then the thing is, he did have a good turn. That was one thing I saw. I was like, okay, there is something in here. But listen, Savio should have been playing. The fact that Andreas Pereira gets called up for Brazil lets me know that we're not a serious Brazilian team anymore.
Man, you legend.
No offense. Oh my God. Man, you had a preseason legend, okay? He's a preseason legend.
Days.
When it's preseason time, he's worried for him to shine.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
James?
No. But listen, I don't know, man. This Brazil team, like you said, the yellow sucks. It's not, this is not the Brazil of our youth. We did not grow up on this Brazil. This Brazil stepped on.
For sure. And I will say, I agree with you that the coaches clearly don't have enough influence. The only person who has influence in like their national team, in my opinion, like who can do whatever he wants, is Deschamps, and that's why he's a terrorist.
That's it.
The rest of them
don't really have it like that. You're right. Deschamps does have it because he wins. He plays terrible football, but he wins, and that's okay. The rest of them, I'm not so sure that it's the case. Take Nigeria, for instance, like Tosin, you spent the entirety of your time on this podcast talking about Ahmed Musa. Like, any coach worth his salt would not call that guy up. They shouldn't have called that guy up since 2019. But
you know what's funny?
It's the one malam we have.
It's actually crazy. He still gets called up. I can't lie.
You know what's funny? I literally was about to say, I'm Nigerian. I know how terrible like the federations can be, because I'm not gonna get into a childhood story because we've watched Nigeria since we were kids, right? Like, seen Olympics, seen it all, right? There's been so many players with Nigeria's national team who should got called up. Like, David Alaba wanted to play for Nigeria. They said he's not good enough. Like, Nigeria, like, there's just some shit that's bigger than us, okay?
Copa shit.
Let's get back. Semifinals, Argentina-Canada rematch. What do we think is going to happen in this game,
Gabby? Hold on. I had some questions about this game. We barely talked. We just talked shit about Brazil, about Uruguay. Then we didn't talk about the game, which is fair because it was barely a football game. Like, I was supposed to be watching WWE Money in the Bank, but I was like, after this game, I'm good on wrestling for this evening. I'm extra good on wrestling. That said, I have a question for you, Gabby. Dorival sent Eder Militao up as his first penalty taker. Same thing with Murat Yakin and Manuel Akanji. This whole thing where coaches are sending defenders up to take the first penalty in a shootout. Thoughts, please.
Absolutely not. They would never have. This is not the game I love. This is not the game I love. I walked up, to the TV, and I was like, "Is that Militao? What the fuck is happening right now?" Like, and I was trying to figure out who I think the penalty takers would be, and he was not on the bingo card, like, at all. Not even in the 5, much less the first one. What was he thinking? I just knew he was gonna miss. Like,
I mean,
what?
It was
Why?
over. It was instantly over. Instantly over. I thought.
Just
Douglas Luiz is supposed to be a set
all I
piece.
cared about. Exactly. I said, listen, we know what Gabriel can do with the ball at his feet, and even I wouldn't want him taking that first pen. What the fuck?
My whole thing is he has a mohawk in 2024. So there you go.
Yeah.
Bro, it's funny. Eder Militao is a good Brazilian name, but I actually feel as if his name should actually be Jorvinho, because his forehead is ginormous, as big as Jorvinho's was. And Jorvinho had a Brazilian name, even though he was from Cote d'Ivoire. So really, we should just
What is wrong with you?
for this big head ass nigga, and everything will be good in the world, and maybe we'll be able to play again. Now we can move on to the semifinals.
Wait, before we move on to semifinals, I will say shout out to Martinelli for scoring his pen, and that's all I care about. I left here with something.
Hi-yo.
Oh, wait, I got one more thing. Uruguay's uniform, the baby blue with the black, that is one of the best combinations I've seen in football. That is, I don't know why.
It is
that
clean.
It looks very menacing. It looks very menacing. And you have a bunch of, chimchiri ass niggas running around in black shorts and black socks just chasing you. It's fire. Even Uruguay got themselves a nigga on their team. I'm just saying.
They got a bunch of them.
I had to think about that for a second. I was like, you're right.
Yeah, Nico de la Cruz.
They got mad niggas.
Yeah, Luis Suarez too.
Nothing. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, and this is because of my college affiliations, which I will not mention. But if you are smart enough and American enough, you'll figure it out. But nobody wearing baby blue scares shit over here. I'll be honest with you. I mean, fuck all that baby blue shit. Fuck baby blue. Fuck sky blue. Fuck blue de Chanel. Sacre blue. All that. Fuck all that blue shit, nigga. Fuck all that. I'm not trying to hear none of that.
Oh.
At least now we know where you went to school. Maybe. Argentina, Canada. That's the first semifinals, a rematch of the opening game of Copa America. Do we have any takes for this? Anybody feel anything?
Oh, you, Gabby.
I mean, we just know that this is their Canada's ceiling. Like, I cannot imagine they get to a final. Like, and if they did, I might burn my own house down because my head would be so hot. That they made it to a final and we got grouped. But that's not the point. Yeah, Argentina is they're gonna take care of them, especially with how open that Canada play. Like, we know what's gonna happen.
It's hard for me to look past that group stage matchup and the way Argentina defends. You know what? This is my hot take. I think Canada is making it to the final. And I'm not saying that on some troll shit. Like, I just feel like Argentina are doing upset. Messi is not in very good shape at the moment. You know, he has a groin
No.
issue that he's carrying around. And even though they're not fully dependent on him, the fact that he's not him, he literally missed a penalty during a shootout. Like Lionel Messi, I mean, he does that sometimes, but still, you know, you don't expect that from him, you know, in a clutch moment. So I don't know, man. I feel like Canada can do something to them because I thought they created the better chances in that group game.
You
The
know
hater
who?
in me hopes they don't, but go on.
You know who? You know who looks like Father Time has finally caught up to Di Maria. Like I was watching him, and it's legendary career, but Di Maria, it's time to go past. This
Leave
is
the
the last.
football before it leaves you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And I want to
do
be
blow.
go on,
Go ahead,
go
Dean.
on. I was gonna say I want to be absolutely clear about that. That the fact that is not a sad thing, okay? When niggas get old, they're supposed to suck and move out the way for young niggas, okay? Like that goes for in politics, that goes for, you know, like okay, actually I don't think Joe Biden should move aside, but that's neither here nor there. But when old people get old, they need to move so the youth can get in there and bring fresh blood and new ideas. Argentina is not lacking for talented players ever. It will never lack for talented players.
You know who I was gonna say about Portugal? Anyway, Uruguay, Colombia. Uruguay, Colombia. This is basically going to be Street Fighter 2.0.
It's going to be KSFC, and I love that. I love that.
I just don't see a scenario in which James Rodriguez survives this game. I think Manuel Ugarte is literally going to kill him. He's going to disembowel him.
He needs a bodyguard. He needs his own Rodrigo de Paul. Like he needs somebody to be, you know, the henchman.
Is it Richard Rios? Because
him or Rube.
It can't be Richard Rios because ain't a Spanish nigga without a Spanish Richard. You know, like because you're supposed to be Ricardo nigga, but you're not Ricardo, you're Richard. So you can't be that hard. Plus you got the highlights in your hair and shit. He can't be that hard. Ugarte is going to murder this nigga, man. It's over. That whole MVP tournament shit is done. It's done.
So he said Dick Rios can't help them out.
Dick Rios cannot help them out.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Side note, speaking of names, did you guys hear that João is supposed to be John in Portuguese?
Sounds about right.
Did anybody else see that shit on Twitter?
Yeah.
And I was looking through the names of the Portuguese players, and I was like, that shit don't even sound cool no more. I hate this. Why would you tell me this?
Yeah, John is the most common name on the planet. You know, like it's just, you know.
Y'all the Baptist.
Ruin the aura. Just like, snatch that shit.
Yeah, say what you want about the missionaries and shit, but they put in some work. They put in a lot of work. Put in a lot of work. This is the result.
One last thing. They should have called out Wilmar Barrios. That would have been the perfect bodyguard for James Rodriguez.
You know. Or they could just go on the field with machetes because it's allowed in Copa America.
This is true. Like I think. Well, wait. Let me think. What are Colombia at now? 27 games unbeaten.
Something like that.
Do we think that the Hatchet Men are going to take them down? I don't know. I think they'll have enough. I think it'll be tight though. I think they'll have enough to get them over the line.
I hate to admit this, but I just feel like in this tournament, given the way it's almost like watching the NBA playoffs. You know how there's a difference between the way they ref the regular season and they ref the playoffs. In the playoffs, you can foul people and they don't call it. I feel like the way they're reffing this tournament means that Uruguay are the most likely winners. I don't really care who's in front of them anymore. As long as they can keep kicking niggas and they don't get more than one red card per game for the rest of the tournament, they will win it. That's the way I feel. You know? So Brazil had a chance to maybe knock them out on penalties, and that didn't happen. So they're going to win this shit. And those of us hipsters will be able to claim that Marcelo Bielsa is the greatest coach that ever lived, you know, which would be nice.
Woo! Listen, love that man.
Yeah. Y'all got anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
Copa has been, compared to the Euros and the like chaos that's happened in the Euros, but it's still pretty structured. Copa has been absolute carnage, like just straight carnage, and I love it.
Honestly, I'm a big live in the moment type motherfucker, you know, and I don't know that I always succeed at it, but I would say the only real difference between the tournaments to me is that the pitches are better in Europe for the most part, except in Frankfurt, and the referees are not psychopaths. And that's it. That's the difference between the tournaments. Otherwise, everyone kind of plays the same now. If you got the legs, you
Yeah.
press. If you don't, you fall into a deep block. It's all kind of boring and delicious. I love it. I really have no problem with any of it, to be honest with you. But Uruguay kill everybody.
I'm enjoying AFCON in Spanish. Okay, I'm having a great time enjoying this. This has been great.
Hot take before we get out of here: Uruguay would win the Euros. I really feel that.
I don't think you're wrong about that. They'd at least make it to the final for sure.
If the referee is Mexican, Uruguay is winning the Euros. 4 goals guaranteed.
Ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share this with your grandma. Your grandma might like listen to a bunch of Black people talking about soccer. So share that with your grandma, your grandpa, your family, all of that. Appreciate you guys.
Give me your grandma's number. I want your grandma's number, people.
This guy is a sicko. Like, what's wrong with him?
We're out. Everyone take it easy. Peace.
Bye.
Peace.
Take your shirt off. Take your shirt off. Plenty. Plenty.